Before we get started, a quick reminder, if you're enjoying Hardin Local, hit the follow or subscribe button or whatever platform you're watching on right now, YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. It really helps us reach more people in the community. And if you want to find us on other platforms, head on over to hardinlocal.com. That's your one-stop shop for all our social media links and our podcast platform. Speaking of podcasts, this Hardin Local with Hardin County Government series is now available as its own standalone podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, with more podcasts being added soon. So if you miss a show, a live show, and want to catch up on a past episode, you can subscribe there. Just look up Hardin Local on Spotify. Also, if you enjoy this kind of local content, join us every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern for Hardin Local Weekly. That's our weekly live stream where we cover local news, events, business updates, and community conversations. And since today's show is all about Hardin County Government Services, make sure you're following Hardin County Government on Facebook as well. You can go over to hardinlocal.com and look at our related links for this podcast today. I have linked their Facebook page. I've linked their website. I've also linked the FOHCAS group, which is Friends of Hardin County Animal Shelter, and that would be great. So let's get into it. I'm Phil Taul, and this is our monthly public service series where we sit down with department heads and county officials to talk about services that impact your daily life. Today, we are joined by Mike McNutt, the director of Hardin County Animal Care and Control. The animal shelter is one of the departments that people think they know. Dogs, cats, right? But there's a lot more to it, including some Kentucky laws that you might be surprised to learn about. We've also got Brian Walker, our county communication officer, to help provide context. Mike McNutt has been the director of Hardin County Animal Care and Control for a long time. And with us also is Brian Walker. So Mike, good to have you today. My first question for you is, how long have you been working at Hardin County?
I've been in Hardin County in animal control since 2016.
So 10 years?
Yeah, and but I've been in the animal field since 89, so 36, 37 years.
That's a long time. So you are the expert on these things.
I don't know. I learn stuff every day. So
well, we're glad you're here. And you as well, Brian. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. We had a timing issue that I wasn't aware of, so we'll just get quite started. And Brian, I'll let you do your announcements at the end.
Okay, we're having some issues with trash collection due to Winter Storm Fern. Quite a few of you have noticed that your trash may not have been picked up yet, possibly even 2 weeks. If that's the case, and you're in unincorporated Hardin County, and your provider is us, our group that collects for us is called UDP. You may remember them as Platform Waste. UDP bought Platform Waste about 3 weeks ago. We processed that agreement through fiscal court. The contract will continue on as it originally was. So what we're going to do, if you have more trash than will hold in your 2 cans that you were issued, you may, if it is bagged, put it on top of the can or on the ground beside it, and we will get that picked up. They are running daily routes, the route that they're supposed to be running each day. So if it's a Friday route, they're running it today. But because some streets and roads are still pretty bad in some places, they may not be able to hit your street. So we wanted to make you aware of that. Our shredding event, once a month we hold a free shredding event for paper for Hardin County residents. That had to be moved due to the weather. So that will be on the 17th, February 17th. So I'll look for that date. We are still clearing roads and working on that, and we do not intend to stop until roads are clear. And we do have a couple of great jobs we're hiring for. One of those is a full-time engineering technician. And also we have some positions as a telecommunicator in 911 and some great positions with EMS, including paramedic, advanced EMTs, and EMTs. And those full-time jobs with EMS come with hazardous duty retirement and a big stack. So that's kind of the latest from my side.
All right. Well, let's get into it then. Let's talk about the landmark case and the award that's coming to you guys. Mike, sorry about that. Mike, that's some big news. Your department just announced as a recipient of a major award being presented at physical court next week. This stems from a landmark animal cruelty case, I think, in Kentucky, the first of its kind to be successfully prosecuted in Kentucky. Can you walk us through what happened?
So, the case they were found guilty of 22 counts of animal torture, resulting in death, 10 counts of torture resulting in serious injury, and we're awaiting on the restitution order at this time. But we will be receiving the 2025 Humane Law Enforcement Award from the Humane World for Animals, formerly the Humane Society of the United States.
Well, that's great.
So we'll be receiving it, the Radcliffe Police Department and the State Prosecutor's Office. So Kenny Mattingly and Eric Carr, who did an excellent job on the case, will be there as well.
Well, that's great. When is that? Is that a public thing?
Yeah.
When is that?
Court at the government building on the 3rd floor next Tuesday at 3:30.
Okay. So next Tuesday at 3:30, if anybody's interested, you can go to physical court and celebrate with. I mean, I guess it's bittersweet, but at the same time, it is a good work you guys been doing.
Well, thank you.
So I understand this case was unique because of how Kentucky law treats animals. Brian mentioned on the phone when I was talking to him yesterday that under state law, animals are essentially considered property. Can you explain what that meant for this case?
Well, I mean, we had to have probable cause and obtain a search and seizure warrant to remove the animals. We had to, they were considered evidence, so chain of custody came into play. And the worst part of this was, in my past, I prosecuted a case where the person was found guilty of animal cruelty to the animals and then was awarded the animals back afterwards because they were property. So we won the case and they still got the animals back.
So the dogs seized in this case were technically evidence, just like, I guess, a car in a criminal proceeding. What does that mean for the shelter?
There's a lot of people that wish we could have put them into foster, but to maintain chain of custody, if she would have been awarded the animals back, I don't know too many people is going to care for an animal for 2.5 years and then give it back to exactly the bad situation it came out of. So we had to hold them. That took away 14 of our large dog kennels for us since May 5th of 2023 until they were signed over to us.
Okay. And so since the county had to care for these animals the entire time, it was on the county's dime until the case was solved. How long was that you guys had them?
It was approximately 2.5 years. It was the day we seized them was May 5th, 23.
Okay. What was that total cost rundown on that, Mike?
It was well over $300,000. I can't really give a specific because the judge has not ordered the restitution amount at this point. We included tax because here board has tax, and he wasn't comfortable with that part, and so I'm not for sure. I'm waiting to find out what restitution will be paid, but I'm sure Judge Simcoe will be more than fair.
So, audience, drop a comment if you had any idea that animals seized in a cruelty case have to be held as evidence. I think this is eye-opening. It was for me. I had no clue. And $300,000 of the taxpayers' dime too, I guess. So, or is that how it was funded through the government? How do you know?
We had to, usually to care for an animal is roughly $25 a day. And that's, breaking down the people that take care of them, the food, water, electric, just all those different things. So, and that was, those figures came from before 23. Those were probably 2017 figures when I broke that down. And that's just a board bill. If your animal comes in as a stray and we hold it and you come to claim it, say we had it 3 full days, it's going to be $25 a day board. That's what it comes from. All shelters have a board bill attached to their stray stay.
Okay. And so once the case was over, Brian, I think I understood you right. You said she surrendered the animals. That's correct, right?
I mean, I guess, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, she willingly surrendered them, and that put an end to the custody issue of them, and
Yes.
eliminated it being a situation where we had to try to pursue the dogs in some legal manner, right?
Yes. Once we got ownership of them, we were able to do what we needed to get them adopted out. And currently, of the 14, only 8 of them are still here. 6 of them have already found their forever home.
Okay.
And these are like show quality, full blood, pits. I mean, and there you go. There's one of them there.
Yeah.
Not all these pictures are of them, but the pits are all them, I think.
The first 2 have been, yes.
Now, that's not a pit bull.
No, it's not.
But that dog is up for adoption.
Yes.
Yes. And there's just a few different ones here. So I'm just going to let that loop. But once she surrendered the animals, what happened next? What did you guys have to do?
Well, all animals here have to be neutered before they can be adopted out. So essentially, we neutered them, put their microchips in, and that's when we were able to move them on. They were up to date on shots and warmer and all that stuff because, we had to keep them healthy through the time of the court case. So they had already had regular vaccines and regular checks with the veterinary and everything like that.
Okay, so if you go, and you already answered this question. Some of those dogs are still available for adoption.
Yes.
And if anybody's interested in checking and seeing what animals are ready for or up for adoption, you can go to the Hardin County government's website to Animal Care Control, and they have a little link there. Or if you just want to do it the easy way, just go to hardinlocal.com. You can go there now. I put a link at the very pretty much the top of the page. It's not the exact top, but it says February 6th animal control, and there's like 3 or 4 links. One of those links will take you to the page where you can view, I think there's like 50 animals available currently, something like that. And these pictures that I'm showing right now are some of those animals that are available.
I have to point out, Hardin County government's really, really been pushing, trying to increase our followers on Facebook and getting people to look at us through various portals. We're edging extremely close. Probably before the weekend's over, we'll hit 27,000 followers. And Mike likes to look at us and say, "Oh, that's cute," because they have way more followers than we do. Because who doesn't love dogs?
This is true. I have to miss Brian every once in a while about it, but the bottom line is pets are chicken soup for the soul. I say that regular. Everybody likes a pretty picture of a puppy or a kitten. So
yeah, I even got mine right here.
There you go.
Here's little Dobbs. He's a Shih Tzu, but we named him Dobby after Harry Potter.
Did you give him socks?
I haven't, but I bet you my kid has, or his mom, his stepmom probably has. He does have some clothing at the other house. So let's get into talk a little bit about the Kentucky animal laws and the shelters. Let's dig into something that Brian and I were discussing before the show. Kentucky animal laws. A lot of people might be surprised by what the shelter can and can't do. Can you explain what the shelter is legally required to do under state law?
We are legally required to hold strays for a period of 5 days. And pretty much that's the extent of what we're mandated to do. A lot of people believe we can go out, and if we don't like the way the dog is living, that we can take the dog, and that's not true. You have to have a search and seizure warrant to remove an animal from property, which means we have to meet the burden of proof with a judge. The judge is not going to let us trample on somebody's rights, nor should he. But a lot of people don't understand that, they'll tell us, well, that person abandoned that dog. Well, that very well may be true, but I have to establish that enough to to reach the burden of proof for the judge to give me the search and seizure warrant. So there's we leave a notice. They have 44 hours to comply. If they don't, we may contact them to see if we might be able to, but typically it's 48 hours before they will let us go to remove an abandoned animal. And that's the best case scenario that we've had has been 48 hours, but that don't even happen that often. They want us to prove it a lot more, and a lot of people don't understand that.
And it's kind of what you know and what you can prove. They may know, you may be able to see this is not a good situation and this animal needs to be removed, but can you prove it? Can you actually literally go to a judge and say, this has to happen? And that's the burden of proof gets really, really sticky.
A lot of people say this animal's abandoned and hasn't been being fed and everything else. But then we go there and there's food and water, and it's because the person that caught has been feeding it. Well, that doesn't help me establish what I need to meet the burden of proof. Because if we put the food down and we take a picture, and honestly, we'll count how many pieces of kibble go into the food bowl, and we'll measure how much water there is. A lot of times we'll knock the water over, but the food typically, you can tell whether it's ate or whether it hasn't. So, we document everything by photograph to try and get the proof we need to move forward. And we do our best to keep people happy, but bottom line is you can't keep everybody happy all the time.
No, that's true. Here's a question from Connie Hayes, kind of on the same topic. Just a question. When a dog comes in as a stray, and I don't know if she's trying to say other counties, not all other counties, apparently not all, but other counties, some post on their Facebook page that a dog was found with a photo, hoping the owner will immediately see. I guess she's assuming that you guys don't. I don't know. The question's worded as, why didn't Hardin County post their found dogs? But I don't know if that's a proper phrasing of that question. I don't know if you want to answer it though.
So we had a different type. We had a different group we were going with to post the pictures of our adoptable animals, and they would also adopt the strays, or they would show the strays. But then we had to go with another computer platform because the other one kept shutting down on us. So the current one that you have is the best one we've had. And I'll need to ask and find out if they're putting the strays up there or not. The bottom line, and this, I live in Louisville. They post all their animals up on there. The bottom line, if my dog gets lost, I go to the animal shelter right away to find my dog, period. I would never, I tell my people when they call, do not answer whether they think we have that animal, because what I think looks like a Boston Terrier and what you think could be two different things. We've had people come in here and say, this is a Lhasa Apso mix. And I look at it and I don't see Lhasa Apso anywhere. So it's always best, if your animal's lost, for you to visit your local shelter as soon as you can.
Yes, that's good to know. Just a comment. Laura said, cruel treatment of animals usually indicate other crimes and abuse. Kentucky needs to do better.
I would agree with that.
Me too. And this is probably a good time to kind of skip over to this slide real quick, because it kind of goes into it too. Which this I don't know if people can see it. Let me make it a little bigger. I know that Mike gave me this, which is this is just a love loss where you can register your pet on Petco Love Loss today. So if they go missing tomorrow, they'll be easier to be found. And I'll give you, anybody that wants to, they can scan that QR code. And he also gave us this other document, which I'll give you a couple more minutes, or not minutes, but a few more seconds in case you're just trying to grab that one. I'll also put these PDFs on hardinlocal.com in the little segment for this podcast. And then lost or found pets. This is the same type thing, but it's kind of like a cloud source type system, to where if you've lost a pet or found a pet, you can post it on this, it sounds like. Is that correct, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's several different platforms in Hardin County to post for found or lost pet. The officers try and comb through that when they're able to. And I want to fix something real quick. It said that I'm the director and I'm over 4 officers. There are 3 officers that I'm over. I am the 4th. Okay. We have 3 that are nationally certified. The only one that isn't nationally certified is our newest officer, and we'll be looking into getting that training for him actually pretty soon. We have a whole training program that they go through statewide. They have the state training, and then they have a national training that they go through. But the state one is the one they have to have first. We get that one taken care of, and then we move forward.
Okay. Well, let's go back over the legality conversation. I wanted you get Laura and Connie for commenting and asking questions. If anybody else has questions, be sure to drop them in the comments and on Facebook or YouTube. That's the only place I'll see them. If you're on Instagram, you're out of luck, but you can still watch there. So if someone calls and says, my neighbor's dog is outside in the cold, what can your officers actually do about that?
There's not a lot we can do depending on what's outside. If we go there and they have a dog house, 3 sides with a roof and a floor, honestly, that's not what I want my dog to live in. And do I wish I could go by and say, hey, put the dog inside your house with you, or I would love to be able to say that, but unfortunately the law doesn't support me in that. We can strongly suggest that they bring the animal, but unless it's something teeny tiny, we do not have the right to. And even the teeny tiny, if you look, there are no recommendations for any breed to come in any temperatures. I believe the one lady says Kentucky need to do better. I agree 100%. I do my part. I'm actually the president of the Kentucky Animal Care and Control Association. We help educate all the officers and get their certifications across the state. With that being said, we need better laws. That's just the way it is. We do need better laws. And advocacy, like a lot of people want to complain to this place about the laws. Best thing you can do is to go to Frankfurt, to know your senators, to talk to them, and to help get your point across to them, because they're the ones that can actually make the changes we need for each community.
Okay. I agree with you. I think it's frustrating and frustrates people. They feel like more should be done. But I mean, for your all's perspective, you're tied by the law because the Kentucky law saying that animals are personal property. So hopefully some people watching, you can understand that and maybe share with your friends that type of information and maybe even come up with a plan, to help make that change. What type of animals does animal care and control handle? Is it just dogs and cats?
Wow. Well, no, we actually have to handle livestock calls in the roadway, so that opens the door open for a lot of different things: cows, horses, emus, ostrich.
You've had some interesting ones actually at the shelter over these years.
Yes. And that is, dogs, cats are our main thing. That is our main thing. That's the only thing that we accept at the shelter. Because if we get a horse, we really don't have a barn. We have to find lodging for it. We have to transport it. I mean, it's a whole big ordeal. My officers, they carry the stuff that they need to try and help them catch the different type of barnyard animals. And there are times when they may have to walk a cow a mile down the street to get it back to its home. They may have to fasten a fence back up to keep the animal in. But that's what they do.
Okay. But you guys definitely don't work with wildlife. That's Kentucky Fish and Wildlife, right?
Yeah, that's we refer that a lot to Fish and Wildlife, and of course there are some wildlife rehabilitators. Nolan River is a very good group that we work with on the regular.
Okay. And you don't respond to animals in trees, attics, etc.
No, we cannot go into somebody's house and remove a raccoon or something. That's Fish and Wildlife too. Now we will help by renting out a trap to you, which when I say renting out, there's no charge, but you do have to sign a rental agreement so we get our trap back. So we'll help with those things.
Oh, like a trap. Oh, I didn't know that. And that'd be helpful.
Yeah, it's a live trap, and then you have to get the animal out of it afterwards, but which is fun, I'm telling.
Oh, well, yeah. I've had to do that before.
Have you ever had anybody think they were trapping a cat and it ended up being like a skunk?
Oh, yeah. We've had people call us who, hey, this trap you gave me, there's a skunk in it. And, we may try and help if we can with that. That's asking a lot because a skunk will spray you even though it's in the trap. And a lot of people that are trying to trap cats catch possums. I mean, there are plenty of times if you look down at outside cats, they'll be eaten beside raccoons or possums. It happens.
Okay. So, like one program that Brian and me were talking about when we were planning for this live stream was the TNR program, Trap-Neuter-Return. Can you explain what that is and why it's been so successful?
If a male cat is intact and he runs across a female in his territory, he's going to welcome her in because he has the option of breeding. If you neuter that cat, he then looks at her as impeding on his food source, and he will not let them come in. People, when they think they have, they'll be like, people are dropping cats on me all the time. And one of the first questions we ask, well, do you have outside cats? And they'll go, yeah. And I said, well, we'll say, where do you feed them? They we feed them outside. That's why you got more cats coming up. If, cats will follow a food source. So, but just to give you some of the numbers, so we didn't have the program in 2016. In 2016, we took in 2,192 cats. That's how many cats came into the shelter in 2016. In 2025, now, of course, the program started in 2017. So in 2025, we took in 949 cats.
So way less than half.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the program works. The biggest problem we have is we always need to do more surgery. And, now we actually have some allies that are out there that are trapping and trying to neuter. FOHCAS has a program. Toshi Morel's group, they help with spay and neuter. That's the one thing Hardin County has is a lot of animal lovers that are working with them, working with us, trying to make everything better. So this is such a great community. There's a reason why I wanted to come here, and it was because I knew that the people here, specifically the 14 people that run this shelter, and that's total employees is 14, including myself, everything. That's only 14 of us. The amount of work that they get done is just amazing. It's mind blowing. They care about what they do. That's the most important thing. And they care about each animal's life. None of us want to see any animal euthanized. We want them to find their forever home and have a nice life. And a lot of people don't get that it's a labor of love that we're doing.
As long as the TNR program, is it free program for residents?
The Friends of Hardin County Animal Shelter, FOHCAS, they actually pay for those surgeries. So yes, it's free if you bring them in. What you need to do, if you have a cat that you need to get into the program, you call, you make an appointment, because feral cats, outside cats, do not do well in a shelter. And what happens is when a cat gets stressed, that's when it gets sick. It's not that they come in and it gets sick because the shelter is sick. It's because they are stressed out, and that's what brings the sickness out of them. So if our way ours works is we like to get them in one day and get them out the next. And yeah, it's a high volume, move them, but that's what's best for them.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's working based on the stats you gave us with it less than half. So let's move on to adoptions, licensing, and services. Let's talk about adoptions. If someone is watching right now and they're interested in adopting a pet from the shelter, what's the process?
Come in and spend some time with it. We prefer, I mean, everybody can look at a cute picture and think, man, I want that puppy. But please come in and spend some time with whatever your animal you're interested in. And please do research on the breed. That's one of the reasons why we exist and why there's an pet population problem, is because people don't research what breeds are going to be harder to train and have more tenacity when it comes to try and get them to be the dog that they want them to be. Raising the dog takes time and energy. So, when we run these specials, we constantly wonder how many we're going to get back after the fact, because they think about it and it's that's a wonderful idea, but then they don't realize it's work. Any good pet owner knows there's plenty of work that goes along.
And what's included when someone adopts from the shelter?
Included with each adoption, we send information home on the adoption bag that includes a list of local dog trainers, veterinarians, general information on helping unadopted pets settle in the new home, Petco coupons. But the animal is up to date on its shots, and the spayed and neutered, and the dogs are microchipped. You can get the cats microchipped. It's just a nominal fee that we ask for, but that's what's included.
All right, I didn't know that that they were all up, spayed and neutered, microchipped, and all that. So that's pretty cool. What are the adoption fees?
We do differential pricing right now, so it's the ones that we know people are going to want to adopt are $200. And what that does is help us offset the cost of the 6-year-old Labrador mix that we have that we can adopt for $25. So it just depends on what type of animal we have. And the bottom line is, it doesn't matter $200 if we charge $200 for all of them. What we're giving you when you get it, when it comes to the veterinary service, has already been done. You can't go to your vet and get it done for $200.
Mm-hmm.
So it's true, and that's not my law. And actually, none of us were alive when that law started. So it's been a law in Hardin County for quite a while. I don't know the exact date, but it is a law that they are licensed. And the tags that we use, if the animal is wearing it, and we can track a dog, my guys will take an animal back to somebody as opposed to bringing it in here. Now, unless it's a repeat offender and we've been getting complaints and stuff like that. But, the best dog owners, sometimes their dog can get through the fence. Sometimes their grandchild opens the door. Stuff happens. So if my guys can find some way to connect the animal we pick up with the person, we're going to get it back to that person in the field instead of bringing it in here. That's why we always ask, if you see a stray, call us and let us go out and do something with it. Please do not approach it. We get calls all the time with people going, hey, I picked up this stray. I was going to bring it to you, and now it won't let me get into my car. If you don't know an animal, please don't put it in your vehicle. Just and yeah, there's only 3 officers that are patrolling, and it may take us a while, but please put your safety first.
Okay. That's true. And people sometimes probably don't think about that.
What I would recommend, put your animal up on all of them, but get into the shelter Monday through Saturday, 12 to 4, and look for yourself. There are people that believe that it's a hound mix or it's a shepherd mix, and when we look at it, we see something different. Not to say either side is wrong. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if your baby is lost, it deserves for you to stop in and look with your own eyes, and we will let you see every animal we got. We want you to find your animal. I do not want your animal. I want your animal with you, up to date on shots and its license, and safe with you. That's what I want.
Okay, that's good. So I'm going to cut out some of these questions so we run short on time, but I did want you to answer a couple more. One, and I'll just give you the talking point now, and you can talk on both of them. One, I want you to kind of share a little bit with what FOHCAS does, how much help they are, and then also wrap up with a story about BC.
So FOHCAS, for the Hardin County Animal Shelter, they have a discount surgery that they run for owners. We do not do surgeries for owners. FOHCAS does. They help out with the TNR cab program that they pay for here. Now, the TNR program, one thing I want to make it clear is that is not for owned animals. It is for stray cats, or our community cats is how we refer to them. So if you need your cat spayed or neutered, contact FOHCAS. But if it's a stray, because if we bring it in and we can adopt it out, we will adopt out the cats that come in. We do our best to rehab them and get them into a home, as opposed to putting them back out on the street. If we can get them into an inside home, we will.
Quickly explain, like you explained to me a long time ago, why don't you do that with dogs? Why do you do that with cats instead? Can you explain the difference in their viability on their own?
Oh, cats don't need us to survive. I mean, that's why the cat problem got to be what it is here, and why the cat problem has been that way across the nation. They overcome and adapt. Dogs need us to survive, but the cats don't. They can eat, they can catch rodents, they can do different things to survive out there. I don't like to see a cat out in the cold as much as anybody else, but I know that cat's going to be okay unless it's sick or unless it's injured. No, that's a totally different story. But, it's going to be okay. And FOHCAS also has the outside cat houses that they all offer at the beginning of the cold season. They have straw vouchers that you can pick up at the front desk for you to put inside your dog house to help keep your dogs warm. Straw generates heat. FOHCAS also drives rescue for dogs. So there may be a rescue in Connecticut that's looking at certain dogs. They do a relay. So they'll drive for 4 hours to a meeting point, unload the animals into another vehicle, and then it's a relay thing across the state. Now, they drive for other people. They don't just drive for Hardin County. In fact, I would say they drive more for other counties than they do for us, just because we do our best to adopt out our animals. And in no time to ever say, unless it's true, that this animal is going to have to be euthanized if it's not rescued. I don't do that. I just don't believe in that. And we do our best we want to be a no-kill facility. That's a 90% live release rate and above. This last month, we were at 93%. That's beautiful. That's awesome. We want to get back to being the no-kill facility. We've won that award nationally twice. But now did I answer the one question good enough?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I wanted you to just talk a little bit about your only permanent residence there, BC.
Yeah. So BC is a cat. In 2014, we investigated a welfare check on a dog and cat left in a basement with no food or water, no heat, etc. We seized the animals and held them at the shelter during the court case. We won the case, and soon after, our rescue group up north took the dog. The staff fell in love with BC during the months he had been housed here, and we decided to keep him and make him the official mascot of the shelter. He's approximately 16 years old now, and he has a chair in my office, and he will come in here and rest when things get too loud for him up front. He's the boss. They refer to him as the boss here. I love BC. And then there are people that feels that BC can be a little annoying. So he'll walk up and lay down on your keyboard right in the middle of you typing. That's just the type of cat he is. But I love him to death, and I couldn't imagine my life without.
Well, that's a good story. Is there anything else that you wanted to share before you were done with this interview? I don't know. I did skip a few things, so I don't know if there was something that you were specifically wanting to say that I did not have to.
We have a wonderful volunteer program, and we have several volunteers that come in and help out every day. They walk the dogs. Some of them clean cages. I mean, some of them help out in the surgery wing with Dr. McIntyre, and they really seem to enjoy that. Just understand, if you ever have a problem, if you don't feel like you're getting ready, ask for me. I'm typically here Monday through Friday. I'd be more than glad to try and answer any question. I won't lie to you. If I can't help, I'll tell you I can't help, but you should try this person. We do our best. If whether we can help or not, we try and give you avenues to use. Like now we have Adopt a Pet. That's where we are showing our animals up for adoption. But they also have, and I can send you these links when we get done, or send you these.
I've put the links. They're on the hardinlocal.com for this podcast. So both those links are there.
You can adopt your dog out through this program. The problem is America is the one-stop shop. They want to be able to just bring the animal, drop it off, and turn around, forget about it. We can't do that right now. We're too full to do that. And I'm not going to take a life to take in your animal. So this right here puts it in your own hands to where you control who adopts your animal. To do something, I would prefer to adopt it from my house than to ever have my animal go into any shelter, even this one.
I know, like there was one time where I had to go through a situation but we did what you're talking about now, and it wasn't that hard. I know we actually used to use Sam Russell's Pet Provisions, and they helped us find a home for that animal that we
And does a lot for a lot of people in the community as well. They're a great group.
They are. Well, Mike, I know you need to jump off here. I was going to give you an opportunity to jump off because I think, Brian, do you still have some more announcements?
No, actually, I cut it.
You don't. Okay.
To try out our Text My Gov, you can sign up for alerts, and we've got something going on like a trash delay, roads are getting cleared, just anything. Please sign up for that. And if you really want to understand what some of these things are, like rave alerts, go to our website, hardincountyky.gov, and just see what all is available there. And that's pretty much a clearinghouse for all the stuff going on. And it also has links to our social media, our various departments, jobs we're hiring for, meeting dates, and a lot of good information.
That's great. Well, Mike, what's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you guys if they're interested in volunteering?
Give us a call, 270-769-3428. We do periodic trainings. After you go through the training, they'll explain everything to you. You need to be, I believe, 14 years of age or older. But please, we live by our volunteers. I have some of the best volunteers in the world that come here regular, and they're just incredible.
All right. Well, we thank you for being here with us today, Mike, and walking us through what animal control and care does. I think a lot of people learned something today. I know I did. Well, if I didn't learn it today, I learned it when I talked to Brian yesterday while we were prepping, but I would have learned it if I hadn't done that. Whether it's the Kentucky animal laws, the TNR program, and even learning more about that landmark case. And so we thank you for being here, Mike, and we thank you for everything you do for the community. And Brian, as always, thanks for helping us understand the context.
Thank you.
So our next episode will be in March. It'll be the first Friday in March. Do we know who's going to be on that one, Brian?
At this point, we are scheduled to talk to folks from Public Works and Solid Waste. We're going to verify that and get that information out to you soon.
Okay. Well, make sure you follow our Hardin Local page where you're watching this video now. You can go ahead and hit the like. And then after you do that, go on over to Hardin County Government's Facebook page, which I linked in the post or in the live event. But if it's not there, you can't find it. Just type in Hardin County Government. Make sure you find the Kentucky one and like their page as well. And make sure you follow them for official news and updates. And my last little plug, which is still related to Hardin County, is that Hardin Local is doing some election interviews throughout the rest of the year. And if you're running for office locally, go to hardinlocal.com, scroll down to the bottom and find the Hardin Local election sign up form. You have 4 more days to sign up for those. We have over 25 candidates already registered, and we'd love to see everyone running opposed to sign up for a free election interview. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next month.